We're coming from Luke 22, 31 through 34. And it reads, "And the Lord said, Simon, Simon." Just for you guys who don't know, Simon was Peter. That was his name before God gave him a new name. He says, "Simon, Simon, Satan has asked to sift each of you like wheat. But I have pleaded in prayer for you, Simon, that your faith should not fail. So when you have repented and turned to me again, strengthen your brothers." Peter said, "Lord, I am ready to go to prison with you and even to die with you." But Jesus said, "Peter, let me tell you something. Before the rooster crows tomorrow morning, you will deny 3 times that you even know me." Father, we give you the honor and the glory. We give you the praise. Thank you for your spirit. Holy Spirit, we thank you for your wisdom in this place. Father, we give you the honor and the glory for your teaching and for your wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. Father, break this down for your people and everyone, Father, Lord, you know how to break it down that they may be able to hear it and digest it. Father, we give you the honor and the glory. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen. God may be seated. So good to see you. It's Luke 22, 31 through 34. Thank you, Lord Jesus. The Lord's been dealing with me this week. And he's saying for us people, especially Church Unchained, he says, for us to move forward and for us to begin to prosper the way he wants us to prosper, in order to move with him, we have to begin to know God's ways. When you begin to know God's ways, we can prosper. When we know God's ways, when we know what moves him, when we know what don't move him, then we can prosper. It kind of reminded me, you guys bear with me if you heard the story already before. You guys kind of laugh about it, but I told you with me and Amy kind of got married, and how we was both coming together. And it's really, when you get married, it's two people coming together trying to become one, right? And so y'all know my pet peeve about food. You see, every time I tell a story, some of the women be like, "What?" I hate burnt food, y'all. And so my wife would cook me food, and I would literally say, "No, I can't eat burnt food." And so I remember just over time, my reaction escalating as she would bring me burnt food. It got to the point where I would literally throw the whole plate away. My wife would testify. Nothing wrong with just one thing was wrong with the food, but I would throw it away because I would feel disrespected. And so I'm going somewhere. You guys watch me here. I'm pretty sure Amy had a few choice words from me. I didn't hear them, but I'm pretty sure on her left. As a matter of fact, I do remember her saying, "God, you're so picky. Man, you are so picky. God, this is just too much." I'm pretty sure there was some bleeps. Again, every time I tell that story, I can see the shock on women's face, like, "You just gonna throw the whole plate?" I say, and listen, I know that sounds harsh. I know that sounds harsh, but there's a side to every story. And can I tell y'all a little secret? Did y'all know that I was made in God's image? Just like our fathers, our natural fathers, you could never have met your natural father, but you're going to share some mannerisms in him. Guess what? We share some mannerisms of our Heavenly Father. And guess what? That's one of his mannerisms. Do you think that, let me ask you a question. Do you think God accepts anything? Yeah? Y'all think God could he just accepts anything. Just bring whatever you want. Right? Somebody get me somebody get me Genesis 4th chapter. Yeah. You got a New Living Translation. Brother Kevin, we're good on the tape. I know you're good if it's an Android.
Of course. What kind of question is that?
Right. Okay, you got it? I need an Android user to read. No, I'm joking. Go ahead. Yeah. Let me get it. Oh, she got one. Okay, to the rest of it again.
Now Adam had sexual relations with his wife.
Read. Start on the. Start the third chapter. No, I'm sorry, not third chapter. Third or fourth verse. Third.
When it was time for the harvest, Cain presented some of his crops as a gift to the Lord. Abel also brought a gift, the best portions of the firstborn lambs from his flock. The Lord accepted Abel in his gift, but he did not accept Cain in his gift. This made Cain very angry, and he looked dejected. "Why are you so angry?" the Lord asked Cain. Why do you look so dejected? You'll be accepted if you do what is right. But if you refuse to do what is right, then watch out. Sin is crouching at the door, eager to control you. But you must subdue it and be its master.
Okay, you can stop there. Y'all see that? Two people, in fact, two twins, brought offerings to the Lord, right? They were both offerings of probably the same thing. Well, but only one of them was a sacrifice. Only one of them was a sacrifice. Stick with me here. I'm going somewhere. I'm gonna go back to the natural, because the Bible, I believe it says it in Isaiah, as it is in the natural, so it is spiritual. First natural, then spiritual. All we have to do is look at the natural to see the way things are done in the spirit. So if we being men don't just accept anything, right? What about God? But yet that's what we do when we come in here. We give God just anything. Any old praise. I don't feel like it. I didn't feel like coming. Y'all better be glad I'm here anyway. I didn't feel like coming anyway. We don't lift our hands. We don't praise. Right? Well, our offering is brought to God. Our praise offering is brought to God. Even our natural offering is brought to God with a tense of, I'm not really happy about doing this. Right? So, well, you can say this, and let me say this. The thought that count, you heard the saying, right. That's one of the worst, that's one of the most selfish statements you can make. It's not the thought that counts. It's the action that counts. Right. I don't want to hear nothing about your thoughts. I want to hear about your actions. See, if I tell my wife I love her, then I'm going to be faithful. Right? Mm-hmm. Now, what if my wife catches me with a woman and I say, well, I didn't sleep with her at our house. It's the thought that counts. Does that matter? No. Right. It was the thought that counted. I was thinking about you. Better be glad I didn't do it. What if, Brother Casey, he asked me some candy. Here you go, brother. This is your candy from Friday. But, Brother Casey, ask me for some candy. No. I think you can do a little better than that. Now, if I just hand him this candy like this, right? That's good. You see a good attitude. Now, hand it back to me. But what if I did this? Right? You might as well kept it, right? God didn't say he wanted a giver. He said, I want a cheerful giver. So to give and have the wrong attitude still stops your blessings, right? Okay. So I'm going back to the meals. Y'all think I'm so picky. And I am. Okay, I am picky. And I thank God because we bypass this now. Like, so sometimes Amy will come in. She cook now because she know I'm making a point here. Amy now knows my ways, right? She knows that I don't like burnt food. So sometimes she'll fix me breakfast and she'll bring in toast. And I'll probably get about a quarter piece of that toast. And I already know what happened. I just start laughing. She said, yeah, it burnt. So she cut off all that part. So I might get a piece, but I'm happy. Thank you for not bringing me burnt food. That right there, you know what? Because guess what? I'm pretty sure Amy's like, in the beginning, we both had bad attitudes. Especially when you first get together, it's two selfish people trying to become one. So I'm pretty sure, I thought she didn't tell me this, but I'm pretty sure I was like, you are just so picky. You can make this stuff yourself. I'm here sacrificing my time. Right? But here's the question. Was it a real sacrifice? Because guess what? Love isn't based off of, my loving Amy isn't based off of my definition. It's based off of her definition. So therefore, if she don't like red roses, why would I bring it to her? And tell her, well, it's the thought that counts. You should be grateful. Right? It's wrong attitude. Right? So now we have an understanding when she understands me. Every once in a while, I know she bring the food. Even now, she bring the food in and she'll just wait, like, everything okay? We're like, where you can go? It's good. But we have an understanding why, because she began to understand who I am. She knows who I am. I'm not going to change. I've been this way for what? 44 years. Right? Burnt food bothers me. You can say I'm picky. You can say this right here. You need to do this. It's never going to change. Burnt food bothers me. Period. At the restaurant, I'm taking it all back. I'm not one of the ones that sit there, well, I don't want to sit here and wait and take it. No, I wait. I'll stop. Listen, I'll drive all the way back a half an hour to bring some food back to the restaurant. That's how bad it bothers me, especially a restaurant. So here's the question God's asking us, right? Why do we keep bringing him burnt toast and we know he don't like it? Why? Why would we continue to bring him? And it's not a literal, but what's your burnt toast? What's your burnt toast that we keep offering God every week? And then here's the thing. We expect God's reaction to change. Now, you're going to be happy about it, but he's not. It's not going to change. God never changes. Just like if look at the natural here. If we can demand and say, we're not doing this, this is just, everybody got their little pet peeves. I just not telling y'all. I just can't deal with that. Whatever it is, that's what you can't deal with. But what about God? Who's much greater? So I make that whole point to talk about we have to get to know, once me and my wife got understanding each other, I understand what she likes, what she don't like. She understands what I don't like. It's having an understanding of who that person is. And my wife knows, I know how to move my wife to happiness. All I gotta do is bring her a diamond, or some shoes, or a purse, or she likes when I surprise her. I know things about my wife. I'm joking about the diamond, but she likes being surprised. So I know how to bring, she knows how to bring, I know what will make my wife mad. Right? She knows what makes me mad, upset. So knowing these things about each other, why would my wife then do that? If I want 3 pieces of ice in my cup, why would she bring me 6? Huh? You answer that, Sade? She's still shaking my head. Get over this 3 pieces of ice. I'm real picky, y'all. I want 3 pieces of ice with my Coke, but my tea, it's got to just be cold. I don't want no ice in there. I don't want to get it watered down. See, it's picky. But this is me, right? Y'all picky too. They're getting quiet. Okay, the point is we know each other now. We have to get to go know God and know God's ways. That brings us to our subject. The name of the title today is, actually it's 2 of them. I couldn't make my mind up. Got a subtitle. Processed for the Kingdom. Subtitle is A Sifting Before the Shifting. A sifting before the shifting. A lot of us continue to go through trouble after trouble and really the same trouble because we don't recognize. We get to the blame game. The devil's attacking me. The devil's doing this and doing this and doing that, but we don't realize that it's the actual way that God promotes us. It's one of his ways. That's how God operates in this earth. We have to understand how God operates. And we'll stop. Once we grasp that, and hopefully after today, we'll understand that the trouble is for a reason. That the problem, that the struggles that we go through is for a reason. Okay, let me go on. I don't want to go ahead of myself. Now, we see in our text here, it says that God was saying to Peter, Satan desires to sift all of you. He was talking about, and not just Peter. He says all of you. So that made me want to wonder what sifting wheat. When he's talking about sifting, he's talking about a flour like wheat. So there's actual shifting. When I Googled it, it says sifting is a two-part process. The first one is called threshing. Mm-hmm. Well, you can say thrashing, really. That's what it feels like you're being when God allows the enemy to attack. The first step in this process of sifting wheat is to loosen the chaff from the edible grain, which is called threshing. The old-fashioned way to do this is to spread the wheat onto a floor made of stone, concrete, or tampered earth and beat the wheat with a flail. I don't know if you guys know what a flail is, but like a stick. Mm-hmm. Just continue on and just keep on beating and beating and beating and beating. Right. The second part is called winnowing. Well, that's the sifting part. Because when they beaten, all of it falls, even the good grain and the hard shell on it falls all together. Right. So now they have to sift it, the winnowing. The next process is called winnowing, where the loosest chaff is removed from the grain. The old-fashioned way of doing this is to throw the grain in the air. The lighter chaff, the chaff, or whatever the case may be. How do you say that? C-H-A-F-F? Chaff. Okay, chaff will be blown off by a decent wind. The heavier grains would fall back to the ground below where they were thrown. Now they have a whole machine that does all this in one step now. Right. It just takes it and sifts it and gets rid of all the old stuff. The wheat gets sifted so that the harder outer shell can be broken through and removed. You actually want the wheat to remain and nothing else, right? That's the whole point of it, the good stuff. Now, as you can imagine, this is the process that God takes us through, right? So it says the enemy desires to sift you as wheat. And I want you guys to see this. I'm gonna read this again. It says, and the Lord said, Simon, Simon, or Peter, Satan has asked to sift each of you like wheat, but I have pleaded in prayer for you, Simon, that your faith should not fail. Now, it didn't say I pleaded in faith. I pleaded for you that you won't have to go through this. It says, now check it out. It says, I pleaded that your faith won't fail while you're going through this sifting. Wow. I'm going to go too hard on myself. So, God breaks down the outer shell of a person, and what's left is the real seed, the real grain that God can deal with. Because the outer shell represents what? The deep hurt that we have. All the bitterness, people hurt us and said stuff, and all the rejection and all the things, the drugs we done smoked, and all the other stuff that just the burden just really come on us. People have been raped and just hurt, and all the hurt that represents the heart shell. Okay, y'all follow me? It's too quiet in here. Y'all okay? Y'all follow me? All right. So I'm gonna look at I want y'all to look at it again now. Imagine it says this. Okay, I'm gonna read the text again. It says, and the Lord said, Simon, Simon, Satan have asked to sift you like wheat, but I have pleaded in prayer for you, Simon, that your faith should not fail. Now check this out. So when you have repented and turned to me, strengthen your brothers. So what is God saying? And you gonna fail. Like, wow, look at that. It says, I have pleaded with you. It says, so when you have repented and turned back to me, so you're going to fail. Now let's look at Peter's reply. Because we don't read it often like this. But Peter was a very prideful man. Very prideful. Very, very, very prideful. Very self-efficient. But look at him. Here's the Lord telling him, you're going to fail. Right? Here's what he says. Lord, I'm ready to go to prison with you and even die. He had good intentions. His intentions were good. And even die with you. And Jesus says again, Peter, let me tell you something. Before the rooster crows, you're going to deny me 3 times that you even know me. So why does God allow us, bring the question, to go through the sifting? to take out everything that's not like God. So a lot of times, right, we go through prophecies, or we see the prophecy. God says you're going to do this, and God says, and that's why it seems like hell break loose in our life, because God is actually making that process come forth. But we don't recognize it as a process. We just think, oh, Satan attacking me, Satan this, and this, and this, and that. But listen to this. Here's the key word. Simon, Satan have asked. He didn't just attack. He asked to sift you. And I'm going to give him permission. But I'm praying for you. I'm praying for you that you're going to pass this test. I'm actually hoping that you pass this test. That's what God is saying. Y'all follow me? So Peter was a, if you read that right there in that context, Peter was a self-sufficient, prideful man. He reminded me of myself, especially back in the day. He was very confrontational. Peter was, y'all reading the Bible, this is the same Peter that God said, listen, Satan, get behind me. You are bad for me. Because he was real quick. He would react. I mean, how do I say this? He would react in his flesh real quick. Lord, no, they're not taking you nowhere. Well, let's fight. Let's fight. Pull the swords out real quick. And so God knew that before Peter could ever be used for ministry, that he would have to humble him. That he would have to break that. This is the process of God. Same thing I went through, because I was a very confrontational man. You said something about me, I'd be in your face. This is how Peter was. This is exactly how Peter was. I mean, literally, he ready to fight. Lord, we can handle this. You walking down, I don't think Peter said this, but some of his disciples, when God told them to go to a city, right before he went to Jerusalem and asked can they have his meal there, they denied it. They said, Lord, should we send fire? Should we call down fire and burn that city up? See, that's the way we react in our flesh. See, so if God didn't change me to who I am, guess how I react? I'm gonna tell you a quick story. My old pastor, father in the Lord, the one who gave us our mantle. I remember him telling the story. He said he was his mother was always crying over should I say his youngest brother, or whatever the case may be. I don't know if he's older. But he he told his mom, I'm gonna go over there and talk to him. He said he had just become a pastor, right? I'm gonna go over there and talk to him. And so he went over there, and his brother was talking. He was drunk and talking crazy and slurred and stuff. And so he said, man, you need to get your life saved. He said he started escalating. He said, man, I don't care nothing about Jesus. And so he got mad. He said, you don't care about Jesus. And so he tried to turn from witnessing to him getting him out. They knocked his teeth out of his mouth and everything. He said, but now, looking up, God, he didn't allow God to process him and all the anger out of him. He handled it in his flesh. How many feel heated when somebody starts talking about God? We feel like we got to defend him. Right? God don't need our help. God does not need our help. God can defend himself. He's got a lot more power than us. Right? So this is why God got to process us. He had to take that hard shell that we have on us, all this that we bring to God. This is the hard shell which makes us to sit here and don't want to raise our hands. Don't want to do anything. But Lord, give me your best. How about the disrespect we come in, Lord? I want you to make me a millionaire. I'm going to this church. He got a half an hour and I'm out of here. Don't really have nothing to do. But y'all just wasting my time. Y'all just, listen, y'all don't have to raise your hand, but some of you millennials, when you first came here, I saw it on your face. Literally, they'd be like this. An hour passed. God, they taking too long. You can just hear their thoughts. God, you can't give God 2 hours of your day to talk to you and give you some wisdom on how to live your life for the rest of your life. This is just 1 day a week. And you got to go live and battle with Satan for 6 days. Come on now. And you don't have an hour. You don't have that much. See, this is why we say we got to know God. We bring the world's ways into the church and we think God going to bless us. So I'm just going to tell you the truth. He's not. He's not. God blesses his principles. He blesses what he says he's going to bless. He says he loves a cheerful giver. So keep on coming up there and giving. Oh, God, I wish I didn't have to give this $300. But you want God to make you a millionaire, right? How much is your tithes on $1 million? Come on. I know y'all know that already. If you $100,000, right? If you can't give $10 on 100, you'll never give 100,000 on $1 million. Promise you will. It gets harder. See, this is why God tests us in levels. This is what I want you to understand. We got to understand and get an understanding of how God works so you can stop blaming the prophet for your prophecy not coming true. No, it's your fault. He said I was going to be rich. Did you do your part? Ask your neighbor, did you do your part? I did a sermon called What's Your If? We come in here with the most negative attitude. We late. But we want God to be right on time, right? God, I need you to come right now. But we come strolling here when we want to, right? And this is not just for, I'm not getting on everybody who just came in like now, because that's not y'all norm. Millennials, so I know you guys got a good excuse, I think. We'll talk about that later. But do you understand what I'm saying? If we as men have our standards, what about God? God's not going to lower himself to our standard. We have to come up to his. We want to see the hand of God move. We have to come up to God's standard. God's not going to meet you where you are. You know what I hear the most come out of everybody? And if you said this to me, y'all, it's not just you. Believe me, several people say this. Well, we working on it. We trying. We trying. At least we trying. We're trying. That's just words. It's time for action. That's right. When God said, God didn't prophesy to you to try. He said, move. That's right. Now, when God told Moses to raise the cane, the staff, to move the sea, well, I'm trying. My arm tied. I'm trying. No, you have to move. Right. God always requires for us to do something. Did you know that? Look at any miracle, he'll tell them, hit the stone. Well, God could have did it himself. Why? Because it takes something physical for you to do. Because it takes your faith to move in it. Right. Okay. So this is not some form of Satan's revenge, okay? That sometimes it seems like God just forgot about me and left me go and just let the Satan just attack me. No, it's not. It's not a form of revenge. It's a strategic plan of God and how he moves to elevate you. It's quiet in here. Y'all don't want to hear this. You don't want to go through this. I don't want to go through no pain.
Teach.
I feel somebody's spirit. I ain't coming for all that.
Teach.
I'm here to be told I got to go through. Tell me. You got to go find one of those, what do you call them, pastors? Just tell you all the good news. Prosperity pastors. Find one of them. I'll tell you the truth because I'm not going to be held responsible when I'm in judgment. Why did you tell them the truth?
Right. That's right.
Wow. Here's some kingdom truth you can write down. Sifting is always God trying to say to us that I want to do great things in your life. I want to take you places, but you can't take that sin with you. I'm going to say it again. Sifting is always God trying to speak to us and tell us, I want to do 3 great things with you. I want to take you places, but that sin that you got not coming with us. And this is the process that we hate. God allowing the enemy to sift through us. You're allowing the enemy to expose. And listen, when you go through the sifting process, even after you get beat, right? Getting beat, you feel like, man, just everything's attacking me. I feel like I'm just going all over the place. God wants to see if you're trusting in him. Who are you trusting in? Because this is what I found out about life. When life begins to squeeze you, when you begin to get hit with that flail, the truth gonna come out, who you really are. You know that? I used to be saved for a long time, but somebody make me mad, or a cuss word come out real quick. Real quick. No, I didn't make a mistake. That was in me. That's what was in me. God's showing you. You see how you react? Let some money get low real quick. People's attitude change real quick. I can't come to church. I ain't going to church no more. Like God owed us. Hey, God, you didn't come through for this race. I used to have, me and Ronnie talked about, we had bad attitudes. When I was millennial before, believe it or not. Bad attitudes. That's why I said my pastor who got raised up, I thank God for him. The gift came from, but he didn't grow. He didn't teach us to mature in God. He babied us. So therefore, I was hooked on prophecy and I was hooked on miracles. God, just pray for me. Just give me this thing, this good feeling thing. And then when God didn't do what I wanted to do, I'm out of church. He called me. Oh, come on, son. It's gonna be all right, son. Come on to church. Come on. All right, I'm coming. I remember I just took Casey and them recently to the airport. Wani, I was staying for what, 2 days? She knew I'm about to get on me. Had a big old suitcase. Me and my wife, she packed a big old suitcase one day. We just going one day, babe. You know how that suitcase, I need this. I need that. I need this. This is how we do with sin. Lord, I can't live without this. I can't live without that. And listen, remember, God has one objective. And yes, Satan does have another objective, right? There's two objectives going on. Satan more than happily he want to sift you and beat you, because what he want to do is break you so that you leave God. And isn't that the feeling we feel? As soon as trouble comes, we want to leave God. We want to get discouraged, and this stuff ain't working, and it's not. It's an instant thing I did when I was young. Damn, left God. Go fulfill my flesh. Go do what I want to do. But it was just injuring me. So that you would imagine Peter was a very prideful man. I mean, he just jumped and just did things, and God knew. Again, he says he knew he was going to fail. Let's look at this scripture again. It says, and the Lord said, Simon, Simon, Peter, Satan hath asked to sift each of you like wheat. So not just him, but I have pleaded in prayer for you, Simon, that your faith should not fail. Now, God tells him again, so when you have repented and turned again, strengthen your brothers. Wow. So listen, Peter, this is what I'm telling you. You are going to fail this. Satan has asked you, I prayed for your faith, that I prayed that after it's all over with, that your faith still stands, so that you still return back to me. That's what he's saying. After this beating, because you got to go through this process to be this minister. Before you're my shepherd, you have to know what it is to be a sheep. Right? You got to know what it is to have compassion. See, Peter didn't have no compassion. That's how I was. I didn't have no compassion for nobody. I didn't have no feelings. It was all about me, because I was hurt. So therefore, I didn't feel anything. So therefore, I'd rather you hurt than me hurt. And that's how I lived my life. That's how Peter was. Very, very just blunt, very confrontational. I mean, just, Lord, that ain't nothing. Nah, you saying that. This is what Peter was saying to God. Man, Lord, I don't know what you're talking about. I'll die for you. There ain't no way in the world. See, the pride in him told him, but see, what did Satan use? Pride. He attacked him. I'm going a little far. So here's another kingdom truth I want to give. I'm sorry, I went too far. I don't want to get that yet. I want to make a point. So Peter was very confrontational, right? The natural man in him was not a weak man. He wasn't punk. If you ready to fight, Peter ready to fight. Hey Lord, what's up? I'm not letting them take you. No, they ain't doing this. He was more physically, but God was about the spiritual. So, but no, I want you guys to note this, that Satan came to attack the very place of Peter's strength. He attacked the very thing that he thought was his strength. His confidence. Isn't that what Satan attacks? A confidence, self-confident. We feel like we're not confident anymore. He attacked Peter's pride as a man. But here's the end result. Peter's sifting broke that outer shell of pride off of him. And he was able to return back to God. And notice God says, when you return to me, you strengthen your brothers. So here's a kingdom truth I want to give. There's always a purposeful reason for the sifting. I want you guys to understand that. You want to write that down. Kingdom truth, there's always a purposeful reason for the sifting. Again, sifting is not just God allowing and forgetting about us. That's what it feels like. God, why you allowing? I'm trying to do all this stuff, and Lord, you told me I was going to do this, and then I get attacked. And it's so amazing how what Chantel said today. That lines right up with what I'm speaking about. We didn't speak, but allowing it when trouble comes to your life, recognize what God is saying. Recognize. Is somebody sleeping? Lord have mercy.
He's clearing his nose.
Oh, okay. So God's objective is to destroy the bad parts in us. Satan's objective is to destroy the good parts in us when the sifting comes. He hopes we never recover from it. So when we begin to recognize who God, when we come to our sifting seasons, that's what I'm gonna call it. We need to stop shifting blame on Satan, right? Satan's just attacking me, and I'm just going through this right here, and I'm going through this, and realize the sovereign hand of God, what God is trying to say. We need to ask God, Lord, what are you trying to say to me? Have you ever asked that question, Lord? What are you trying to say? When trouble comes, ask that question to the Lord. What are you trying to say? What are you trying to remove out of me? What are you trying to remove? Because there's something.
Right.
But see, and this is what we do. This is me and Apostle. We didn't have nobody to tell us this truth. So guess what? I just had to keep going through. Because here's the truth of it. If you don't pass the test, God orchestrates it to keep on coming back around. And I didn't even understand. I didn't even get it at first. Like, why? But when God gave me his wisdom, I'm like, this is the same test I keep going through that I'm not passing. God never meant for you to be in the wilderness for 1,000 years or 40 years.
Right.
He orchestrated it for you. If you pass the test, and the passing the test is with a good attitude. Now, I went through it. I never forget. I had an employee. I told him to go clean something, and literally, she threw something down and stormed off. And I couldn't wait. There was customers in there. Y'all know D1. D1 came out of me. D1 came off. I couldn't wait till them customers left. She did this right in front of customers, just literally, bam. They walked up. And so when she left, in so many words, I told her, "You fired." She said, "Fired for what?" She said, "I did it. I did what you asked me to." But look at your attitude. If you never remember anything, remember this. Your attitude, especially millennials, determines your altitude in life. That's in the natural, and that's also in the spirit with God. It's like if our boss likes the right attitude, what about God? Again, we just come and throw ourselves at God, but we want God's best, right? How many want God's best? Ask yourself, do we give God our best? Do we? Or is it half-hearted? Is it in us, Lord? Y'all almost didn't see me today anyway. So y'all better be glad y'all gracing my presence here. This is the type of attitude we come in with. Don't have a place to go. Listen, I remember feeling that way. I'm irritated in church because the pastor's taking too long. But then I heard a voice say, "Where you going?" You know what the answer was? Nowhere.
Nowhere.
To that food to go feed my flesh again. But I'm in trouble. I'm asking the Lord for an answer, but I'm so irritated I can't even hear the Lord speaking to me because I have no patience. Right? I want God to do this on my time. By the way, bless me, Lord. You got 20 minutes to do it. I'm out of here. I got stuff to do. Boss call you. Can you work an extra 6 shifts? Oh, yeah, I can. Yeah, I'll be there. No problem. But let me ask you a question. Which one are you really getting paid more for? The payment that you're receiving right now is so much greater than what you can receive on a job. This is life-changing.
Yes, true.
Lord have mercy. This quietness, I know this is, Lord, you're hitting their heart.
Yes. Yes.
Here's some things to remember when we're going through a sifting process. Number one, this is going to help you out. Number one, first of all, Satan had to ask for you. See, that changes all perspectives right there.
That's right.
He had to ask Jesus, could he do this? He had to ask. This also reminded me of one time, Satan didn't even ask Jesus, could he attack? But God asked, have you considered my servant Job?
All right. Yes.
So that lets me know the process.
Right.
Job was prospering. You know, so that means that's Satan's job to go sift saints. So he's in heaven. Hey, have you checked out my boy Job? You might want to consider sifting him. See what's in him. God is standing by when we're being sifted. God is not just sitting here, oh, just attack her. Attack him. God is actually, he's hoping and wishing, I hope they pass this test. I hope they go through the sifting process so that I can bring them to their glory and their purpose. Listen, I don't care what prophecy you receive, it is not going to happen until you follow the things of God. It is not going to happen until you follow God's principles. Oh, he said I'm going to be a millionaire, but you haven't even honored God with your wealth. With the little wealth you have. Will you honor him when you have millions? No. Right? But God understand, God understand I got bills. You know, people say, God wouldn't want me to go through this. God wouldn't want me to go through this. Let me tell you something. Me and my wife, when we got together, we was robbing God too of tithes. This is before we even had any company or anything else. And I remember just being foolish with money. Spending we didn't have. Hey, you want to get new cars? Let's go. I didn't even get a calculator to add up. Can I afford it? So one day I just heard something in me on a job. Just see how many bills you got. Y'all know I added up. We was negative $500. I mean, we needed $500 more to pay our bills. And I was not paying my tithes. And I prayed to the Lord. I said, Lord, because I heard the Lord say, pay your tithe. We try to bargain. Lord, if you give me a raise, I'll pay it. I'll start paying it. I promise you I'll pay it the next time. God says, you're robbing me now. Right. So now I go from $500 negative to, I don't know how much our tithes, probably close to $400 we had to pay. So now I'm $900. We're $900 negative. I'm getting ready to pay my tithe. I'm telling you. I told God, I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to trust you. But we say we're going to trust, but we don't. We can say right here with all ourselves, but what is your heart saying?
That's right.
Oh, God, you ain't going to come through for me. That's what my heart was saying. Lord, ain't no way you won't fail. No, Lord, I'm going to try. Listen, it got time for almost time. I was shaking. I was literally shaking. And everything in me was saying, don't you pay the Lord. We don't want you to do this. That's Satan that told you to do that. Fighting me and just fighting me too. I almost didn't put it in there. I had to really hurry up and run and hurry and put it in that thing. Because I almost didn't. I'm serious. I almost didn't. And this is no joke. My wife testified. Now, I'm not going to say this was easy. Because God, after I began to pay my tithe, God gave me wisdom on what to do. On how to get the finance. Because I was wasting and didn't see it. That's what the Spirit do. The devourer blinds you. You don't even see.
That's right.
You don't even know. I mean, I remember thinking, like, man, I got paid this week. Where did my money go? Man, I literally couldn't even remember what I did with my money. I wasn't no drinker and nothing like that. I just still couldn't remember. Like, okay, I know I bought McDonald's, but then where the other $400 go? Right. And I could not remember. Well, listen, God is my witness. Within a year's time, we had over $30,000 saved up. I still don't, me and my wife, we still talk, I don't even know how it happened. Because when I added it up, I was like, we probably could save maybe $4,000 or $5,000 if we do this. Now, God gave us a plan, right? He says, listen, and this was hard for me to tell Amy no more getting her hair done every week. Oh, Oh, she didn't like that. Listen, here's the gas money. We can't just waste gas money no more. Here's your set gas money. We're eating bologna now. No more going out. Here's your allowance. If you want to go out, we got to do it our allowance. And we sat there. Now, listen, I was mad about it too. I didn't want to have to go through this process. But, I mean, I get tired of bologna, Lord. I said, Amy, give me some more salami. I'm tired of this bologna. Listen, we endured the process. And I don't know when, how long after that did we get our house? No. Well, I think for the first time we went and bought 2 new cars, right? We paid them off cash. That was such a good feeling. I kind of overdid it. The Lord was like, no, you take that car back. You shouldn't have. So I actually sold one of them again. But that was the first time that we've ever began to prosper. God began to give me wisdom on how to prosper. And listen, not making a whole lot of money, y'all. Making decent money. Because there's one who withholds more than they should. And it ends in poverty. I'm not telling you this because I'm a money-driven pastor. He just wants your money. And he's not. No. I'm telling you how to prosper in God. I'm telling you what God requires of you. So if God requires this of you, then why do we keep giving them burnt toast? You need to see it in the Bible. Why do we keep thinking God's going to accept this one day? That's what happened with Cain. He says, listen, won't you do right? He said, if you do right, listen, I want you to understand what Cain, he said Cain. He said, won't I accept your offering if you do right? Because listen, you know what the whole moral of the story was? Cain was just giving God what he wanted to give him. Well, I ain't using that, so. It's easy to give somebody something when you're not using it, right? Oh, that's old. I ain't using that no more. I don't want it. But it's not a sacrifice.
Right.
You know what makes me happy? It's a sacrifice when my wife goes into the kitchen. Because it's a sacrifice of her time that she took her time to make sure my toast was not burned. That's the sacrifice. Not the sacrifice is not cooking the food, right? Anybody can do that. Well, let me just hurry up and get this done and show you. Here you go. No, but I tell you, listen, I know my baby don't like this. So I want to make it right. You know what she began to tell me? You know what? I like making you food. Before it was a burden though, see? See, it's different perspectives though, see? But see, again, as she began to know me and knew, because when you get into a relationship and you're in marriage, it first started off as, well, what's she gonna do to please me? What you gonna do to please me? It's kind of like this battle.
Right.
But when God says you had to become one, that means half of us had to die. Right? And who wants to die? That's how it is with God. God says, don't make you a prophet and prophetess, but you got to die. This part of you right here, you have to die, and nobody wants to die. We fight and scream and go on and just like little children. God says, you're not bringing that ice cream in the car. You're going to make a mess. Right? That's how God is with us. So, number one, Satan had to ask for you. Right? And the Lord said to Simon, Satan has asked to sift you like wheat. Number two, the Lord has prayed for you. Remember that? Prayer is intimate. When somebody praying for you, that means you love them, right? When I'm praying, I care for them. That's an intimate thing. The Lord said, I'm praying and I'm pleading that you pass this. I'm praying for you. I can't stop it. That's how God was with his son. I can't stop this process, but I'm praying for you. Jesus, you got to go through this crucifixion. Listen, I don't want you to go through it, but I know it's going to be for the better cause. I know that the glory that's going to come on the outside after you go through this is going to be much greater. See, when God crucified me, I'm telling you, my mouth was man, I shoot off real quick. I mean, I didn't have no control, y'all. Somebody said something, I lose control over people. And so God began to humble me. He used bosses to humble me. Tell me, you go do this and be quiet. And I say, Lord, give me another, I lose my job. Lord, if you give me another job, I promise. I did that about 3 times. I lost my job twice. Shooting off at my mouth. 3rd time, I was able to stop. See, even God had mercy on me. God told me, you be quiet. I was burning up inside. I do it. Burning up inside. Amen, Marcus? But God was getting rebellion out of me. He was getting stubbornness out of me. You know what? If you've ever said to yourself, I just can't work for nobody, you got rebellion in you. I just can't do it. You got rebellion in you. You need that spirit cast out of you. Because let me tell you something. God will not give you your own until you submit to somebody else. To somebody else's vision. You can submit to their vision and do what they tell you to do. See, guess what? Before this ministry even came about, I had to submit to somebody else's vision. Even with them doing me wrong. See, I ain't got nothing to do with them. God uses that right and wrong with that person. Even that person persecuting you and doing you wrong. God uses that to grow you. God just can't take it. They just picking on me. Stop. Change your perspective.
Right.
Lord, what are you trying to get out of me?
Right. That's right.
Lord said, I'm trying. If you listen, he's speaking. I'm trying to get that rebellion out of you. Why do you burn up every time she tells you to do something?
Right.
Huh? Why is it so hard for you? I just can't work for nobody. I just can't. I got to have my own. You think God going to bless you with that? That's pride. See, that's the same pride Peter had. Cain thought he could just bring, Cain thought he could just bring God anything. And God says, listen, be careful of your attitude because sin is at your door now. Isn't that just what we did? As soon as we have the wrong attitude, we go to sin. He murdered his brother because he had the wrong attitude. God's trying to say, listen, I'm not for either one of you. I accepted his offering. I accepted his sacrifice. You just brought me an offering. That's all it was. That's all about it. We just bring God's offering. We think, well, I'm here. At least I got here. Well, I got here before the service was. I got 10 minutes in. But we want God to be right on time, right? Let's think about how we treating the Lord and Savior of this world, the one that created you, the one that placed breath. You wouldn't even be able to wake up. You wouldn't be able to drive your car unless he says, okay. See, we don't look at it that way. Put some respect on God's name. That's my third title. Number 3. Y'all got number 2? Did I say number 2? Number 3, there's grace even when you fail.
Come on now.
Remember this is the kingdom truth. There's no season of sifting that you can't keep, that will keep you from returning to God. The scripture says, and when you have repented, come back to me. That was a guarantee. Jesus guaranteed that Peter was going to fail. Listen, after you fail, we're going to fail. Listen, I'm not giving you no excuse to fail.
Right.
Don't take that as, well, he said we're going to fail, so might as well. No, because you just keep delaying your purpose every time you do so. You know why me and Apostle are here and our wives are here? To help you get there faster. Took me 7 years to get totally delivered and set free. It shouldn't take you that long because you should be learning from wisdom.
Right.
You should be hearing what we're saying. We were unfortunate. We didn't have this. We just had to learn the hard way and go through. You guys have wisdom. You can ask us. Y'all sit here and ask us. Sometimes I don't leave the church till 6, 7 o'clock at night. You just ask me questions. Becca, what's Becca? Her one question. One question is 10 questions, but y'all know. I got one question. Oh, wait a minute. That makes another question. One. But I happily ask. But listen, don't ask unless you don't actually follow the wisdom. And that's not a reflection on you. I'm just saying that on everybody. Don't ask unless you're going to follow the wisdom that's given. What do you think I should do with this? Are dinosaurs real? That's an inside joke. So there's grace. And number 4, it says to strengthen your brothers, right? Now, wow. It seemed like after I failed, I need the strengthening, right? But God says this is not for you. The reason why I'm sifting this out of you is so you can strengthen your brothers. Guess what I'm doing now? Strengthening my brothers and my sisters. So after you have failed, I failed many times. God said, after you come back and you realize all the mistakes you made and you're ready to stop this foolishness, now you're going to have a testimony to be able to strengthen your brothers. Y'all, I'm almost finished right here. I want to look at James 1, 2 through 18. This is a look from God's perspective. You ever want to know how God's perspective is? I want you guys to read this right here. This is on this right here is about main things that we deal with in life. Trials and tests, money, and different things like that. I'm gonna start off with the second verse. This is called prospering from trials, faith, and endurance. It says, "Dear brothers and sisters, when troubles of any kind come your way, consider it an opportunity for great joy." Now, who got happy right here when trouble came? Nobody. Who just started jumping? Yeah, trouble's here. Then I tell you, what's in the world is opposite in the kingdom of God. What's up in the world is down in the kingdom of God. It's down in the kingdom of God, it's up in the world. Right? So, somebody with a worldly mindset, you going to church, spending all your time, you giving your money, they don't understand that. That's down to them. But they'll spend all their money on marijuana and alcohol. Right? And that can't help them but temporarily. It says, number third verse says, "For you know that when your faith is tested, your endurance has had a chance to grow. So let it grow, for when your endurance is fully developed, you will be perfect and complete, needing nothing." Y'all hear that? When your endurance is fully developed, this is not saying that you won't want something and have desires, but your desires won't run you.
Right.
The desire for, well, I need to have this and I need to have this, and we won't be foolishly spending money on I don't know, $2,400 shoes. There's no reflection on nobody. Except the person it's reflection on. I like messing with Sade. But again, right now, let me tell y'all something. The attitude most millennials have now about being wealthy, and I'm going to do this, and we had the same thing. I'm going to bless everybody. I'm going to take care of this. I'm going to get this. And God says, no, you're not. You're not giving what's my seed, my holy seed, to anybody. Your whole perspective of what you like isn't even really what you like until God show you. It's things that I said I like. I'm going to get this, and I'm going to do this. I didn't even have no desire for it after it was all said and done. That was a desire of the world. I'm telling you, when God changes you, your whole perspective will change. You won't even view money the way you see now. That's a worldly desire the way you see it now, of wealth and material stuff. And I need to get this. God trying to get, somebody probably have it. What is it? Shop thrift. Is that what it is? Spendthrift, yeah. Spendthrift spirit. That means you can't stop spending money. I have to keep on swiping my credit card to fulfill me. And here's how you know you're into this. When you go buy something and it temporarily make you happy, and by the time you make it home, you're thinking about taking it back. What did I buy that for? You're trying to fulfill something on the inside that's God. Only God's key can fulfill. God left a hole in everybody's little heart. Only his key can fulfill it. So we try to stuff it with this little stuff. We get ourselves in all this trouble, and God gives us wisdom on how to get out of trouble. Here's the problem. The wisdom don't make sense here. We think our prophecies have to make sense up here to us. Well, that don't make sense, God. God does not going to make sense. He tells us that his thoughts and his ways are far from us. In fact, as far as the heavens are from the earth, it says his ways and his thoughts are from us. So how do we think that we can think like God? There's many people who I've prophesied to, they couldn't see what God was saying, but they saw some time later, right? It's when I got prophesied to, I didn't see what the prophet was saying. I agreed with the wealth part because I understand that. I didn't agree with this. Oh, you gonna do something big for God? Nah, what you talking about this right here? He was wrong on that. So we'll bypass that. We want to play pick a prophecy, right? That's what we do. Pick a prophecy. Oh, he was so real on it. How could God be 98% right, but that 2% wrong? Because it's something you don't like, right? Uh-oh. So Let It Grow says, if you need wisdom, ask our generous God, and he will give it to you. He will not rebuke you for asking, but when you ask him, be sure that your faith is in God alone. Do not waver, for person with divided loyalty is as unsettled as a wave of the sea that is blown and tossed by the wind. Such people should not expect to receive anything from the Lord. Their loyalty is divided between God and the world. You hear that? And they are double-minded and unstable in everything they do. That's what it boils down. We have to get rid of double-mindedness. We can't come with carnal-minded, worldly ways to God and think that God's going to bless them. God has his own, look at the Bible, he has his own standards. He has his own ways. Now, how many people want to be rich in here? Come on. That's it right there, just a little. Okay. Let me show you the qualifications. See, remember I told you what's up in the world, it's down, right in the kingdom, and vice versa. Let me show you the qualifications of being rich in God's eyes. It says, this is number 9. I'm going to 9. It says, believers who are poor should have something to boast about. What? For God has honored them. Yeah. Whoever felt honored when they didn't have no money? Come on, child, they don't put that hand up. I don't feel no honor when I don't have money. You honoring me, God? Let's read on. Number 10. And those who are rich to boast that God has humbled them. Uh-oh. Now, who want to be humbled? See, if you're rich, God says, only reason why you're rich is because I humbled you. Uh-oh. Because I sifted you. I saw that there was no seed in you. I saw that you love me more than you love money. I humbled you. And guess what? Flesh don't like that. So that's why I said your whole perspective is going to change when God, after you get through going through the sifting, and God changes your perspective about money, and then he gives it to you, you're going to change. You're going to realize I'm not just going to be blessing people with my seed. I had to go through this. Y'all heard the saying, you don't know the cost of this oil in my alabaster box. It's real expensive. It cost me a whole lot. I don't know about y'all. It cost me a whole lot to be here. I had to endure a whole lot. I didn't have to. I chose to. Because I had to choose to go through the sifting process. I had to choose to go through God breaking me and then putting me back together. A lot of things that we deal with, we continually deal with sexual sins that we can't stop. Different things like masturbation or fornication. We can't stop these things, but we want God to bless us. God says, I got to deal with the mess first. You can't bring that into my car. You can't bring my car's too holy. My tires are too holy. You're going to bust my tires. You got that in your heart right there. You got this unforgiveness in your heart. I can't bless you with that. See, prosperity pass is just God's going to bless you. God's going to bless you. You leave out of here feeling good. But guess what? Nothing ever happens for you. Because they never really told you the key and how to prosper. That's the key. I'm giving y'all, so listen, what I'm giving y'all is worth more than $1 million. You don't see it that way. Here, look at this. Believers who are poor have something to boast about. God has honored them. That's I don't know about y'all. Listen, that's not in the human reasoning right there to boast about being poor. Right? Lord, thank you that I'm poor. You know why it says that? Because I don't have to deal with the pride of a rich person. You know the proverb that says, Lord, see, this king, who was the king? He says, Lord, don't give me too many riches because I might deny you. He says, but give me just enough because if I'm poor, I might steal. See, that's a person that know themselves.
Right.
He knew I can't handle riches.
Right.
Because Lord, listen, I'm going to forget about you. See, God knows what's in us. He knows what things. We ask God, Lord, make me rich. God says, okay, you're going to go through this process because you got the love of money in your heart. What's your reason for being rich? Ask yourself that question. Why do I want to be rich? Because I just want to be able to buy anything I want to buy. Wrong answer. Why God want to bless you? Because you just want to buy anything you want to buy and spend up all your money. Which, by the way, you're going to blow it anyway. Let me tell you something. $1 million is not a lot of money. You can blow it quick. It's not a lot of money. God says, you have a bad habit with a whatever $8 an hour job I got you now. You in debt now.
Right.
That's just going to turn to a bigger debt.
Right. That's right.
Now this is going to I'm jumping to the 12th verse here. We're almost done. It says, God blesses those who patiently endure testing and temptation. Afterwards, they receive the crown of life that God has promised to those who love him.
Amen.
Now let me explain the crown of life, because crown of life, people think that just, that's just what you're going to get in heaven. And it is. It's two parts of the crown of life. You can get, God promised a crown of life here on this earth and in heaven. Here's the proof right here. I'm going to go to Mark 10:28. It says, then Peter began to speak up. We've given up everything to follow you, he said. This is what he said to Jesus. Jesus said, yes. And I assure you that everyone who has given up a house or a brother or a sister or a mother or a father or children or property for my sake and for the good news will receive now. Somebody say now. Now in return 100 times as many houses, brothers, sisters, mothers, children, and property. But check it out, along with persecution. Oh my goodness. He left that for last. And then it says, and in the world to come, that person will have eternal life. That's two crowns. Two crowns of life right there. So he said, you're going to be blessed here, and you're going to be blessed in the life to come also. Tell your neighbor, a sifting comes before shifting. A sifting comes before shifting. You get tongue-tied, son. Say it again. Say it 3 times fast. A sifting comes before the shifting, before the promotion. Sifting, why? God says, Satan, test them to see what's in them. And Satan goes through thoroughly. Oh, okay, here's a bad seed. Oh yeah, she never got rid of that rust. Let me grab that seed. Let's mess with this a little bit. Oh man, look at that. They don't trust in God. They trust in money. Let's work on that a little bit. That's a bad seed. I'm going to sift you thoroughly. I'm going to find out everything that's wrong with you, and I'm going to attack that area. Peter, he had pride. So guess what? He thought, Satan thought, thank you, Lord. I know I had a dream before, because I remember I told you I was just like Peter. Lord, just reminded me of this. I had a dream, and I was in there, because I had a stance. I was a fighter. I didn't care about competition. I'll fight. And so I remember the Lord gave me a dream, and I was in the dream, and Satan came up to me. I mean, I knew it was Satan. And Satan was small, like this. And naturally in the man thought, I'm like, this dude want to fight me? Like, dude, I'm finna whip. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. I'm like, man, I'm finna whoop you. Like, dude, I'm feeling tough. Like, I'm finna tear you up. Listen, this little short dude beat the mess out of me. Okay, I mean, beat me bad. I couldn't move. He was slamming me everywhere. And I heard the voice of the Lord say, "This fight is not fought with flesh and blood, but by my spirit." Stop trying to fight people. See, again, when testing comes, God tests you to see what's in you. People, who does Satan use? People. We got to learn that. They came against me just for nothing. No, it's not for nothing. God says he sees the anger in you. He sees you want to fight every single time somebody come against you instead of reacting the way God says. Every time I allow Satan to put this and sift you right here in this area. You don't even get past this one bad seed. You just stay right here at the seed. Yeah, all I gotta do is tell her this right here. She'll curse him out. And guess what? You lost your salt now. You can never go back and witness to that person. You can never go back. God had to use somebody else. See, God is sifting. He allows Satan to sit. Go ahead, see what she made of. See what he made of. And guess what? Just like I would say, I was living, I was good. I stopped stealing all that. But guess what? Quick anger was on me. Let somebody say something to me. Listen, don't think you can try me because I'm saved now. We say my niceness for kindness. Don't think because I'm nice. Oh, he's just a critter that I won't whoop you. I just told many people that. Because guess what? God says, you're not showing my love. I instantly go to my carnal mindedness and my flesh to fight the word. God says, I need you to fight. God was showing Peter, listen, you can't fight this battle with your carnal mindedness and your flesh and your fist and your sword. You want to swing the sword all the time. That's not how you're going to be a shepherd. You got to know the frailty of people. So therefore, I got to make you frail. You got to know what it is for people to have compassion for people, for therefore I got to break your heart. You got to know what it is for somebody to be hurt and the feeling of it so you can have the compassion of Christ. Lord have mercy. Now, James 13-8, and it says, and remember when you are being tempted, do not say God is tempting me. God is never tempted to do wrong, and he never tempts anyone else. Temptation comes from your own desires, which entice us and drag us away. These desires give birth to sinful actions, and when sin is allowed to grow, it gives birth to death. Now, it says, don't say that God is tempting you. And it says nothing about testing you. Talking about temptation. God allows you to be tested because your own desires in you, those little seeds in you, the seed of sin is in us. And God sees that. Satan actually sees it and he exploits it on purpose. Now, number 19. This is the main qualities needed to be during trials and tests. This has to do with your attitude. It says, so then, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath, for the wrath of man does not produce the righteousness of God. Guess what would happen when we start going through? It's the first thing we happen. Get mad, get angry. Ask me what happened when somebody tell you the truth.
I get angry.
Okay, I do too. We all in here. Everybody, see, that's our natural reaction. Just listen to this. He's telling us this is the attitude you need to have. So listen, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear. Lord, what are you saying? Then listen, slow to speak. I'm always just going through the devil. Slow to wrath, for the wrath of man does not produce the righteousness of God. So you stay right there where you're at because God is trying to produce the righteousness in you, but you're so angry it can't produce in you. The anger of man can't see God. When you're upset and mad, you're not even hearing, you're not recognizing why God is taking you through this process. You just think that people come against you. See, our perspective has to change. Here's in the closing. I love the scripture right here. It's Isaiah 28, 23 through 29. Isaiah 28, 23 through 29. This is proof right here that the Lord loves us and he's the perfect teacher. It says, listen to me. Listen and pay close attention. Does a farmer always plow and never sow? He is forever. Is he forever cultivating the soil and never planting? Does he not finally plant his seed, black cumin, wheat, barley, and emmer wheat, each in its own proper way and each in its own proper place? The farmer knows just what to do, for God has given him understanding. A heavy sledge is never used to thrash black cumin. Rather, it is beaten with a light stick. A threshing wheel is never rolled on cumin. Instead, it is beaten lightly with a flail. Grain for bread is easily crushed, so he doesn't keep on pounding it. His threshing, he threshes it under the wheel of his cart, but it does not pulverize it. The Lord of heaven army is a wonderful teacher, and he gives the farmer great wisdom. This is a description of the wonderful way that God loves us. God says, I know exactly how to allow the enemy to hit you, but it's not going to pulverize you.
Right.
It's not going to hurt you. God says, trust me. I know how to take it. He says, each and every one of us in the proper way. It said, each in its own proper way spices us. The farmer is God. He knows how to handle it. He knows that we could be easily crushed. Stand to our feet. I knew it was going to be quiet in here today. It's one of them double-edged swords right into your stomach and back. Yeah, side to side, everything. Neck hurting. Ouch. Somebody say ouch in Jesus' name. Ouch.